I welcome you guys back into my next life coaching video. So what I want to explain today, guys, is life itself. Don't you get excited about life? Don't you want to become somebody? You have to understand that if you want to become somebody in life, you have to create content. You have to create something for yourself every single day so that you become someone much more greater for yourself, because that's what it's about. You have to, every single day, make sure that you're creating something of value that you can give to others so that you can actually succeed. So for example, right now I find myself at a holiday over here, and I'm actually on a holiday with my mum, and we're in Germany, Frankfurt, where she lives, and I'm just over here just traveling, going, seeing, sightseeing places, just being around my mum, for example, because it's been 5 years since I've seen my mum. Yes, and so it's a nice and beautiful fashion statement right now to be with my mum for a bit so that I can help to enjoy my life and to be on a new level. Okay, so if you want to be on a new level, you have to do something. You have to understand that you have to actually grow yourself no matter what. But the thing is that you can speak all day long, but if you don't do it, then nothing's going to change. You understand? So for example, you have to understand that if you're someone who's a smoker, but you talk about quitting smoking all your life, but you never quit smoking, then nothing changes. You can give people as many reasons as possible about everything. You understand? And the thing is that if you don't change yourself, then nothing's going to change. You understand? So you have to change yourself. You have to become exactly what you want to be throughout life. So for example, I'm making all these coaching videos because eventually if I have a son or daughter, I promise you what's going to happen is eventually I'm going to show them what I made. And then from that point of view, they're going to have a father that's going to succeed and who's succeeding at something already. But the thing is that it's much more how I bring him into awareness. I bring my son and child to a better awareness like this, because I'm actually creating content of value for them so that they can pass on to their children. You know, so for example, everything I read, I put it into a life coaching video, I put it into my audio programs, I put it into something of content. So I pass on information. I promise you that information that you're looking for is out there somewhere. I promise you can find it in my information, or you can find it in other people's information. But you have to read more. You have to understand every single day that the more you read, the better you become. Okay, so every single day you have to always keep consistent at reading. You understand? Because reading is something that you have to be curious about, and you have to be curious about. For example, you have to be interested in other people's point of view so that you can understand your point of view better. You understand? So for example, one of my friends, Toma, he just recently said to me that you have to go to people and ask 100 different people the same question. And then after you have those 100 answers from 100 people, make up your own decision. In a sense, so for example, if you go around places asking all these people questions about life, isn't that interesting for you to ask questions? That's the best kind of conversation starter, to ask questions about everything. Yes, and the more you ask questions, the more you can communicate. Okay, you have to be able to communicate with people. So the best conversation starter is ask them a question. Like for example, what would you do in this situation? How would you go about this? What are you doing in your life to better your life? Those are key questions that you can understand why successful people are much more successful than other people. You understand? If you ask yourself that question, and if you study people and why somebody is much more successful than other people, then you'll understand the answer. Okay, it's in the questions. It's in asking the question every single day. You understand? So for example, if you're moving on with the conversation, you have to be really fast and accurate about what you speak, and you have to understand it's much more about growing yourself in the moment. You have to understand that my best content came in my videos. So my life coaching videos are much more intense. They're much more, let's say, going to teach you something about life much more often than not. And why is that? I promise you, because I'm showing myself in the video. I promise you, my highest quality content came in videos where I'm inside the video. Okay, you have to understand why that is, because when you pronounce yourself into a video and you're actually speaking while you're actually doing a video, and you can see your face, you can actually be in the video yourself. I promise you, people can actually see your tone of language, and they can also see exactly what you are doing on a consistent basis to help your life to succeed. Because that's how you grow, guys. You grow through better ways of managing yourself. You have to manage yourself in a way that you have to grow, and you have to actually always find out for yourself. I mean, in a sense, so the best way I find out for myself something about life is I teach life. I teach life as much as possible, and that way I go and travel somewhere. I'm traveling through this audio content. I'm traveling through this video right now. So the thing is that if I don't do live coaching in my life, then I have no passion. I have no dreams except for music production. I mean, music production is my skill as well. I like to make music here and there, but it's nothing big. You have to understand, my music is nothing big just yet. I promise you, it's in development. I'm still developing as a music producer, and I'm developing as a life coach as well. And in life, you're going to be developing every single day of your life. You have to be developing yourself. You have to be really consistent about what you read and why you read what you read. I mean, you understand? And you have to understand every single day how to read. So what you do when you understand the how in how you read is you make sure that you have the tone of voice, you have the body language, and you have what's said in the actual program. In a sense, so make sure you understand that you have to actually watch people. You have to actually always understand that the more you watch people, the more you can understand your life and where you come from and your background and your story. In a sense, so if you have nowhere to start in life, if you have nowhere to begin with your story. I mean, that's where I began. I started doing Snapchat. And I was doing 1 minute videos here and there, 40-second videos, 15-second videos, and I connect it all together into 1 hour. And I post it up on YouTube because someone's going to be helped by that content. I mean, I'm going to be helping someone with what I said. I mean, in a sense, so the whole point of life is to make yourself more aware. But the best way you can make yourself more aware is to teach. I mean, teach something about your passions. Teach something about your dreams. Teach your story to people. Give your story to people. I mean, understand how to do that for yourself. Because when you start with your story, you're going to always have an outcome that's much better than yesterday. In a sense, so every single day I'm always learning how to tune my mind in a way of life coaching and in the way of music production. So, for example, yesterday I stood still in my music production. And why is that? You have to understand, it's much more how I wasn't getting any inspiration from my music, for example. And the thing is, I have an idea, but it's just being able to execute on my idea. I want to make a track just like Armin van Buuren. I mean, Armin van Buuren is an inspiration to me in terms of music production. I mean, the guy can really make music. So the thing is that I have Deadmau5, I have Aly & Fila, I have Armin van Buuren, and these people create great music that I like to listen to. I mean, understand, and I like to always repeat their music because I've had some good times with their music. I mean, understand, sometimes it's a good thing to repeat someone's music just so you can listen to a memory that you had in a certain moments of time with those people, so that you understand something about yourself and so that you're growing yourself on a consistent basis. But you have to understand that, for example, some people don't want to teach. Some people don't want to create music. For example, my mum, she doesn't want to teach much. You understand? She doesn't want to go up online on YouTube and start teaching about her story and start giving her story to people, and she hides a lot. I mean, you have to understand, my mum is someone that hides a lot of her life. She wants a private life. Do you understand? And the thing is that it's good to have a private life, but it's even better when you expose your life as much as possible. And you have to understand that my story and where I come from, you have to understand that I was someone also hiding my content. I was hiding a lot of who I am as a person, but now I don't hide anything about myself. I mean, everything about me is going up online and everyone can see exactly where I'm coming from. You understand? And the thing is that nobody's saying anything to me about how I look or how I feel or the words I said or anything about that. You have to understand that people are moving on. I promise you, the best thing you can do in life is move on with the story. I mean, you understand? So make sure you understand that your story is always made every single day. I mean, every single day, be doing something, be active. Every single day, walking, making sure that you're breathing correctly, making sure that you're doing something with your mindset every single day, making sure that you're watching as many images as possible, understanding that you have to influence people in some kind of way. You have to do something today to succeed every single day. You have to make a story for yourself. You have to understand that you have to go and really, really push yourself to make content. You have to push yourself every single day with your emotions to get to somewhere. I mean, you have to get somewhere. You understand? So that's the whole point of life. When you're traveling somewhere, you have to get somewhere, don't you? First, you have to understand, you have to Learn from what you see. Learn from what you do. You have to learn from the wisdom that people give you. You understand? So when you learn from everything, that way you can understand how to actually live your life. And then once you understand how to live your life, that's how you pass it down to generations of people through information that you give to other people through value, in terms of through valuable information that you give to other people. And that way people can understand your story, and people can understand the story of other people through you. You understand? Because you gave that story about other people and about you. You understand? So the thing is that it's much more that you have to understand that you have to put yourself in a nice and beautiful fashion every single day. And you have to understand that it's much more about growing yourself in the moment, by making sure that you're passionate about your work. I promise you now, you have to understand how passionate I am. I'm very passionate about my life coaching. I'm very passionate about what I do. But sometimes I don't get some inspiration from my life, for example. And the thing is that I always have to find it inside of myself. So the only way I find inspiration is through me. I promise you, the only way that I can actually inspire myself to grow is by looking inside of myself for that information, or through that type of context where I'm giving a certain outcome or certain information to people, where I can understand, I can learn something from that information. I can really give it out in a different way. You understand? Because the thing is that I speak the same thing every single day in a different manner. You understand? And the thing is that I learn something different because I do it in a different way all the time. You understand? So every single day when I do something different, I'm always learning from every situation. But you have to understand that people are not interested in me. You have to understand that I make a lot of content come true that people don't want to listen to me. I promise you, they don't want to really inspire themselves through Danny Milivojevic. And the thing is that that's okay with me. You have to understand, it's really that I'm trying to do the best job I can, but people don't think that it's some kind of information. I mean, they don't think that it's something that can help their life. You have to understand that it's something that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. You have to understand that I'm just 30 years of age now. I'm 30 years of age now. But the thing is that eventually I'm going to be more years of age, and I'm going to be more wisdom, and I'm going to have much more life skills and much more talent and abilities to be able to speak in front of crowds, to be able to influence myself, and to be able to be around people in a better way. I mean, the sense of the thing is that when I go around other people, I'm very quiet. You know, I don't give out my story much. You know, and the thing is that I give out my story to you. I give out my story online as much as possible. But the thing is that around other people, I only give my story when they ask me. When they ask me a question about my life, or when they ask me something about, did I do this, or did I do that, or where did I go, or how am I doing, or what do I do for a passion, or what, I mean, when they ask me questions, I'm elaborating on my story every day. But when they don't ask me questions about my life, I stay silent. Do you understand? And that's what you must do also in your life. When people are not asking you questions, then be silent with them. You understand? And ask them questions. You understand? So ask them, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done this? And be much more curious to start a conversation with questions. So for example, you have to understand how much I lack. And you have to understand the thing is that sometimes I don't find myself asking as many questions as possible about certain things about life, to just get the other person's perspective, to just make them talk, for fuck's sake. You know, so make sure you understand that. Make sure you understand that what you want to be doing through life is make other people talk. Make them talk much more while you listen. You understand? And the thing is that I have people where, for example, in my mum's life over here, people trying to teach me stuff. And the thing is that I'm trying to teach them as well. But the thing is that that's the thing. They don't want to be taught. You understand? I mean, they don't want to, just goes through one ear through the other ear. You understand? The thing is, don't teach these people anything. So for example, Toma, my mum's boyfriend, and my mum doesn't want to learn much from me. You understand? I'm pretty sure my mum and everyone around me doesn't want to learn much from me unless they ask me questions. So that's the only time that people actually learn about you, is when they ask you questions, okay? So for example, if you want to understand something, ask questions, please. Make sure every single day you ask them much more questions, and that way they talk more, and that way you listen more. But the thing is that eventually the more questions you ask, the more you find out about somebody else, okay? And that way you can always understand your perspective, basing it on other people's perspective. because all you are is other people's perspective right now. For sure, all the information you have came from other people, and it's something that conditioned you in terms of who you are today. So the reason I do these life coaching videos and my content today in terms of information is because of the mentors I have and because of the people that were in my life, such as Zig Ziglar, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Osho, Stephen R. Covey, Tony Robbins, Eckhart Tolle. I mean, these are resources of information. I mean, look at Les Brown. I mean, look at, for example, Damon John, for example. I mean, Grant Cardone. I mean, all these people, Elena Cardone. I mean, there's different types of people. For example, like John C. Maxwell. I mean, for example, all these preachers and people who are preaching, you know, saying they're preaching the gospel. I mean, they're preaching real estate. I mean, they're preaching personal development. I mean, they're preaching skills, assets. Brian Tracy. I mean, he's another person. I mean, you can go anywhere in words. You can take yourself on a journey somewhere. You can help to elaborate something about the world around you, and you can actually do it for yourself. So for example, I'm not going to live forever. You have to understand, I'm not going to live forever, but my contents that I give to you will always live forever. You understand? I'm always going to be here in the world teaching. You understand? Because teaching is something that I do for fun. But it's a fun hobby. You understand? And now, do I make money from it? I probably I'll make awareness out of it. I become much more aware to the person I am because I teach something that I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to understand that. I mean, how does that make sense, for example? You have to understand it makes sense because when you teach something, you make common sense while you teach, and then you give it out into the world, and then you're doing your part in the world. You're giving back to the community. So, for example, I'm giving back to the community much more than all my friends. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving much more back in terms of words. I've given much more words than they have. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that I've given much more music than they have as well. So they may think my music is shit, but the thing is that I created some music. You understand? They have no music of their own. You understand? So they're not music producers. I'm a music producer. So I made over 200 tracks. I made over 200 tracks, music tracks, soundtracks. And now it's not the best. Apparently it's not the best, but it's something. I mean, you understand? So the thing is that when I make music now, I look to create just something. I just want to create something that is coming from me. You understand? Something that I want in the world, and not basing it on other people's perspective. You understand? I want to base it on my perspective. I want to give you something of my perspective in the world. You understand? So if I was always to run around grabbing other people's perspective and stating that they said this, they said that, and you can do that. The thing is that we want you to elaborate you. We want you to talk about you, to talk about your story, to talk about where you came from. I want you to be successful. I want you to have everything in life. And the thing is that not everybody has everything in life. You have to understand that everyone has Jesus Christ, but the thing is that nobody, in terms of not really everyone understands that. You have to understand that people have a low tone to them. They have this low awareness about who they are. You have to understand that you're a spiritual being living in a human body, and you're not a human being living in a spiritual body. You are a spiritual being living in a human body. You came from above this place. You came from somewhere much better. Do you understand? So what you have to understand that every single day I do a life coaching video. You have to understand it's been quite a while since I've done a life coaching video. And the thing is that I don't regret it. I don't regret anything in my life. In a sense, so everything I've done until now has shaped me into the person I am today. And now you have to understand that I look different in my videos. I look different, and now I'm changing all the time. But the thing is that I look much more fatter. I look much more obese in my videos right now than I did previously. You understand? Because at the moment I'm taking medication, and I'm on medication for schizophrenia. You understand? But eventually I will lose the weight and I'll get myself back on track. You understand? Life is an uphill and downhill battle. You understand? Sometimes you go up, sometimes you go down. You have to understand, sometimes you have to understand how to live life in terms of where you are from right now. You have to understand from this point forward, how can you do better now than previous attempts? You understand? It's about understanding where you're coming from and understanding where other people are coming from. You understand? Because it's not just about you, it's about everything. You understand? So you have to always be open-minded. You have to be open-minded to everything, and ask questions. I mean, ask everything about everyone. Do you understand? I promise you, ask whatever you can to understand much more about life. You understand? The more questions you ask, the better you are. So, for example, I can ask my mum, hey, mum, did you ever go to, for example, to see an art museum somewhere in Spain or somewhere, wherever? I mean, I just find out about my mum, for example. I mean, what did she do in life? And the more questions I ask, the more I get to find out just some kind of information about her. And then she's going to start talking. She's going to just start talking. And then suddenly she gives me an idea. And then I give you that idea. You understand? So the thing is that through the talking comes ideas. Do you understand? And that's what you need to be elaborating much more on. You have to be talking much more. You have to be much more communicative. And now if you're not contacting your friends, then your friends don't know about you. So don't you want people in your life? You have to understand that if you want people in your life, then you have to understand that you have to make an effort. You understand? But the thing is that no matter what in life, make sure that you understand, make an effort for you the most. You understand? So for example, myself over here, I don't contact my friends because I make them contact me. So if you want to be my friend, you just contact me. Do you understand? When you need me, that's where I'm here for you. I'm here for you when you need me. You understand? But I'm not going to go chasing you. Yes, I'm not going to go chasing my friends. And that's what you need to do as well. I mean, don't go chasing your friends. Make them chase you. So those people who chase you are ultimately going to be in your life. So for example, my mum calls me. She chases me. You know, so I chase my mum because I want my mum around me. You know, I want to have my mum around me. So for example, I chase my dad. I want my dad to be around me. Do you understand? So I select the people who I want around me and I chase them. You understand? The thing is that my friends, for example, I don't want to chase them because it's not that I don't want them in my life. It's more that I'm doing something much more. I'm doing something that's much more bigger than them. Do you understand? I'm doing something much better in terms of life. I mean, you understand? And the thing is that it's more how when they chase me, they can come all the way for me. And if you're willing to be my friend, and if you really, 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 really want to be my friend, then you chase me all the way and you come to me for help. You come to me when you want to see me. You come and drive me. You will do everything for me to be my friend. Yes, and so you'll find out that in life, you won't get many of those people who want to go chasing you all the way. I promise you have billions of people on the planet. I promise you 1 or 2 people may chase you all the way. You understand? So you must understand that. So for example, my mum chases me all the way. You understand? My mum chases me a lot in life. My dad, you have to understand, he doesn't chase me much. You have to understand, but the thing is that you go and choose your friends. You choose who you chase. So for example, I chase millionaires, I chase billionaires, I chase people who are giving content. I chase people who are really, really valuable in the world, who have a bunch of knowledge in life, who can give to me something about their story so that I can help to better my life. Yes, and that's where I go. I go for help. I go where the information is. I chase information. I promise you, information's everywhere. I promise you, this phone is information. I promise you, this laptop, I'm information. I promise you, my mum is a source of information. I promise you, everything's information these days. And now, how much questions are you asking? You understand? I mean, if you want to ask even more questions for yourself, I promise you, that's going to better your life. I promise you, you're going to have much more to deal with. So for example, if you think you know it all, then you're never going to ask questions, are you? I promise you, the thing is that those people who know it all need to ask more questions because you don't know everything. I'm sorry, you don't know everything, okay? Nobody knows everything, you understand? You have to understand that. I promise you, 1% of the people understand 1% of life, you understand? And not even that. I promise you, we only understand this much about life, man. I mean, you understand? I mean, you have to understand, life is an uphill journey. Through wisdom, it's always uphill. You understand? You can always go through much more wisdom. You can always take yourself out on a journey somewhere every single day, learning how to actually do something, to never procrastinate, to never lag your life, to actually grow in the moment, to be doing something special for yourself every single day. And if you're not, look inside and live inside of yourself. But if you don't feel like going for a walk, then don't go for a walk. But you know what's best for you. In a sense, so go and do what's best for you. In a sense, sometimes if it's best for you to smoke a cigarette, then smoke a cigarette. I promise you, if it's best for you to do heroin, do heroin. You understand? Do what's best for you. Do you understand? Because everyone's experiencing something. You understand? Sometimes you have to understand, I'm a smoker at the moment. You have to understand, I smoke cigarettes. And I'll do that because it's best for me at the moment. That's just the way it is. You understand? I promise you. Now, why is it much better for me to smoke a cigarette now? I promise you, because I feel that it's necessary for me to experience much more of that in my life at the moment. Because I'm experiencing life. I'm experiencing the cigarette. I'm experiencing it. You understand? And now is it killing me? I promise you, everything's killing me at the same time. I promise you, I'm dying anyway, aren't I? I promise you, you have to understand, I'm growing and dying at the same time. I promise you, everyone's growing and dying at the same time. But some people are dying faster than other people. I promise you, some people are growing more than other people. You understand? So what makes much more successful people out of the whole life? I promise you, what makes the rich rich and what makes the poor poor? I promise you, habits. Habits is what makes people rich and helps to make people poor. You understand? So if you define your habits and you understand that you have to stay away from most of life out there, including cigarettes. So I know to stay away from cigarettes as much as possible. But the thing is that for myself right now, I don't want to do that at the moment. It's just the way it is. And now, is something going to change that for me? The thing is that I'm always open to it. You understand? I'm always open to learning how to actually quit that cigarette and how to actually stay away from it. But it's easy because I understand how to do it already. You understand? I understand how to stay away from it. The thing is that right now, I don't feel that it's necessary for me to quit smoking right now. You understand? And the thing is that it's just the way it is. So what you need to do throughout life is you have to grow, regardless of what you're putting yourself through. You have to understand, some people go gym. They go to gym for 3 years of their life so that they can look better in terms of their body. You understand? And the thing is that, for me, I feel that that's a waste of time. You understand? But some other people will say, no, that's actually good for your health because it actually helps you to live a longer life. But the thing is that you have to understand that I can use 3 years of time and put it into my music instead. You understand? So what's more valuable to me? I mean, is it my music production or is it my muscles? I'd rather have more music in my life than more muscles in my life. I mean, it depends on you. Do you understand? Actually, what is much better for you? I'd rather get that 3 years of life in terms of that 3 years of building muscle. So, for example, I'd rather understand this, that, for example, that if someone's going to build muscle for 3 years of their life, I'd rather use that time for life coaching or music production than go out there trying to have the biggest muscles and stuff like that. In a sense, so for me, it's much more valuable to give words and music in life than anything else in life. I mean, you understand? So what I do is I save time like that and I look better this way. You understand? So what I do is I stay away from most of life out there as much as possible and I look to live inside of myself. You understand? I look to be inside of myself the most because that's how I learn. That's how I grow through things. And when I speak, I move my hands. Okay, I move my hands because my hands direct my speaking and it directs me into the way that I want to speak. In a sense, so when you actually see the classical instruments play in the nice and beautiful classical dome, approach the guy or the woman is doing these. And why are they doing these? Because the rhythm of the music, you understand? And they're giving the rhythm. So they go dun 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 dun. I mean, you understand? So that is how you build a rhythm. You understand? Through music, through live, through speaking, through tone of voice, through whatever you want. You understand? You have to be directing yourself throughout life. You have to understand that if you don't direct yourself, then nobody's directing you. And then you can get lost. You understand? So you have to direct yourself and you have to go the best way for you. So everyone understands their best way, but not everyone follows the best way. You understand? I mean, am I following the best way? I promise you, I'm following the best way to some extent. You understand? I'm following the best way to some extent, but in other attempts, I'm not. You understand? So the thing is that I have improvement in my life. So I have to work on myself. You understand? Everyone has to work on themselves. And you have to understand every single day that when you work on yourself, you're going to have much more better thinking skills. You're going to be able to think. You're going to be able to do. You're going to be able to do whatever you want. But I'm very glad I've done this life coaching video, because I get to teach someone something, and I get to do my passion, and I get to live through my passion. Do you understand? Because my passion is talking. You understand? But the thing is that many people say, oh, make 1 minute videos, make 1 minute. I make 1 minute videos. I make 3 minute videos. I make whatever suits me. Do you understand? So that's what I'm giving you. I'm giving you an attitude. I'm teaching you attitude. I'm teaching you how to have a great attitude. Do you understand? Because you have to understand, I don't care what people think about me and how I look and how I'm going to go about life. You understand? I can see exactly what I need to do on a daily basis, and that's make more content. You understand? And I mean, no excuses. You understand? Every single day, making as much content as possible. I mean, make shit music, for fuck's sake. Make music. If it's your passion, make the fucking shittest music in the planet. You understand? I mean, do you understand me? Because you can, Brosh, everyone has to start from somewhere. Brosh, if you don't know how to speak, start from somewhere. You understand? Brosh, give the shittest audio program in the world. Give the shittest anything in life. You understand? Brosh, you have to understand, my music is nothing like Armin van Buuren's. Brosh, but the thing is that my music is unique. I mean, it's unique and nobody's ever done it. And it's so special to me. And it's so special in life. Because it's so unique that nobody else has ever done it. So if you want to experience a bit of Danny Milivojevic, go in my YouTube channel. Go inside the playlist of my Music 22 album, 21 album, 20 album. And just go through my music, for example. Probably it's not the best music in the planet. I understand that. But it's a new experience. But it's a new experience. But it's something from Danny Milivojevic, and it's also shit music, but it's also unique music. You understand? So what I seek to do is I never seek to make music like other people make music. You understand? I never want to make other people's music. I want to make music that suits me. I want to make music that's shit music to listen to, because that's how you make something. You understand? Even if it's a shit listen, probably it's something. You understand? I mean, you understand? So if I make the shittest audio program or video program or shittest quote that you never even understand, probably it's something. You understand? I probably I created something at least. You understand? I probably at least maybe 1 word, 2 words you can understand, and let it be. You understand? You have to create something in life. You understand? Because think about someone who's creating nothing about their life. Probably those people have nothing happening in their life. I mean, don't you want to have something happening in your life? I mean, don't you want to understand to stay consistent? I mean, don't you want to be consistent about something? I mean, in a sense, so every single day I upload as much content as possible up online. And I want to be heard. I mean, you say, I want to give out my voice. I want to give out my talent. I want to give out my speech. I want to give out my perspective. I want to give out my ideas. I want to read from other people and give you their knowledge for free. Do you understand? Because if someone's selling you a product of information, you can get that information for free somewhere. You know, so you can get it for free. You know, so you don't need to go buying thousands of dollars of information when you can get it for free. Today is the newest way of life through making free information. You know, so the more you make free information work for you, the better you become. Okay, so every single day, learn how to actually understand much more about life and help yourself every single day. Help yourself to do better. See, so guys, that's the difference. Every single day, you have to be asking questions. You need to actually grow in the moment, and you need to do something on a daily basis that's really going to help your life. Because you have to understand something, that when you eat small portions of food, okay? And that way you have energy that's everlasting in your life. So for example, every single day, what I do on a daily basis is I grow. I grow as much as possible every single day. And I try to always keep questioning myself to do better. I have to understand that it's much more about helping myself in the moment, to grow in the moment every single day, to become the best version of myself is what I need to do on a daily basis, because there's nothing else much more important than that. So make sure every single day you have to understand that you have to grow. So be your own person. Be in the moment. Be someone who's actually living your life in the way that God wants you to live, okay? You have to understand every single day is going to be a new day. So make sure you're always growing, and that way you grow, okay? You grow through the best things in life. You grow by making sure you read every single day, the most you can every single day, and then focusing on a greater life for yourself every single day is going to help you to become that version of yourself that you want to become. So every single day for myself, I'm making sure that I grow in the best kind of way and nothing else. So every single day, just focus on yourself in a way that's actually going to help you, because that's what giving value is all about. So you give value on a daily basis to help yourself to grow, because that's what you need to do to help yourself to succeed every single day, and to actually always succumb to a better way of life for yourself, so that actually you always have that nice and beautiful melody going in your life where you're actually growing yourself and becoming your best version. See guys, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to be in your feelings. So when you're in your feelings, you can go anywhere. I mean, you have to understand that your feelings is your imagination. So your feelings talk through God, and you have to understand that God talks through your feelings. And you can always understand how God feels, because God feels the way you feel. Okay, so if you want to understand God, then you have to be in your feelings. And if you want to understand other people, you have to be in your feelings. Okay, so you have to understand that the mind, in terms of the thoughts, cannot understand people. Okay, your thoughts cannot understand people, but your feelings can understand. Okay, your feelings can understand how someone feels in the moment and what they are doing in the moment. So for example, my mum right now, she feels a lot of stress at the moment. I can feel it. You understand? I can feel her vibration. You understand? I can see, for example, my dad over here, I see he's low on energy at the moment. He has low energy levels. Do you understand? So the thing is that you can always understand people by feelings. So if you feel your way through life, you can understand how people feel. So for example, my friend, in terms of my friend John Wiseman, I see he's feeling great. I can see his feeling right now. I understand that he's actually feeling nice and sweet, for example. So you must understand that it's much more, you have to always grow yourself in the moment, and you have to always understand your perspective. Okay, so if you want to understand your perspective, you have to be in the feelings and not in the mind. But the feelings is the mind. Okay, the feelings is where you want to be. If you want to quit smoking, or if you want to quit drugs, or if you want to quit anything in life, then you be in the feelings with that, and then you're actually someone much more, because you're actually in the feelings. Okay, because the feelings can show you exactly what you need to do throughout life to actually succeed. So when you actually go in the feelings every single day, you're going to be able to go and overcome challenges. You're going to be able to talk. You're going to be able to go and do whatever you want to do, because your feelings can do it. Okay, you can do anything in the feelings. So be in your feelings all day, every day, so that you can understand more of life. So for example, if you want to overcome any kind of drug in the planet, you have to be in the feelings, so you can actually help yourself to succeed, because that's how you succeed. Okay, so for example, make sure that when you're talking, that you never tense up the mind, but make sure that you tense up your feelings when you're talking, so that you can progress forward, and so that you can understand exactly what you need to do on a daily basis to succeed even more, because that's what's going to be happening in your life in terms of helping you to overcome obstacles. Okay, so you need to overcome obstacles through feeling. Okay, so make sure you feel your way through life. Do something today that helps you to become successful every single day. Making sure that you're doing something in regards to helping yourself to succeed is what you need to do on a daily basis every single day, to make sure that you're always on the best path for yourself, that you're always recognizing yourself as a true person, that you're being a true person for yourself, that you're staying true to yourself, that you're doing everything that you need to do to succeed every single day, and that you're really active in your life. Make sure that you're active, getting out and about, making sure that you're doing something in terms of helping your health to grow. I mean, you have to grow with your feelings. You have to be in the moment, okay? And the best way to be in the moment is to be in your feelings and to feel your thinking, as Jamie Smart says. So feel everything in terms of everything that your feelings are saying to you. Make sure that you progress forward, and that you really produce that content, because that content can help other people. So the more you actually grow yourself in terms of what you're doing, the more aware you become, and the more aware you become, the more you can help people to become much more aware, because that's your job. That's your focus. That is your purpose, to make sure that you can overcome anything in your obstacles of your life, that you understand that it's much more about helping this world to become much more aware, and that's all you can actually bring to the table. So make sure you understand that all you can actually give is information. Okay, so nothing else in life is much more important than giving out information as much as possible, so that you're growing and so that other people are growing around you the best way in terms of life, and making sure every single day they're doing something to progress your thinking forward. You know, saying you have to be thinking forward, you have to be reading constantly, you have to constantly be reading, you have to be actually always attempting to do something for yourself that you've never done before, making sure that you're doing something that you've never done before, going a different road to other people, making sure that you're not following the people around you, making sure that you're following God only, and that way you actually see what's much more better for you to do in the moment, and making sure that you're always hypercritical of yourself in a way that you're critical in terms of thinking skills. Okay, so making sure that you have the thinking skills necessary to succeed every single day. Doing something that's really going to progress you forward is much better than doing anything backwards. Okay, so make sure you understand that if you're going to go backwards or forwards in life, make sure that you progress in life. Make sure that you're always succumbing to a better idea in your life, making sure that you're doing some life coaching on the side here and there, making sure that you're doing something productive for yourself, where you're actually growing yourself in the moment, and where you're actually really doing something to help people to succeed is what you need to be doing. Okay, so every single day, make sure that you're always helping yourself to be in your feelings, because your feelings can always tell you exactly what you need to do in the moment, and your feelings will always tell you exactly what you need to be helping yourself with in the moment, and making sure that you understand that it's much more how you help yourself in life to succeed.